Uncovering music by new and up-and-coming great artists.
The Grammy goes to
the next big thing. This is Untouched Melodies.
Talk to him. Talk to him. Talk to him.
Well, hello. It is another amazingly fun and talented version of Untouched Melodies. I have, is it Judelyn or I've heard it said so many ways now. It's like, I call you Judelyn. That's what I'm going to roll with tonight. And I have your, what are we calling him? The dadager? Is that what we're calling him?
Dadager, yeah.
I did my homework. Manager slash dad. Welcome as well, sir.
Thank you.
So, Untouched Melodies is basically a podcast that was created to promote and really just shine light on artists that otherwise would be hidden in the vast sea of Spotify and streaming musical whatever apps. And I was fortunate to find your work through our friends. And so Alexis Marrero, who is another friend of ours, actually is a huge fan of yours as well. So to get kind of kicked off, some people who don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about where this all come from. You're 19 years of age. So when did this start? Because on your Spotify, it says that you wrote this album that you've just released when you were 14. And I'm just thinking, what? How did dad locked you in your room and you're just writing angry songs? But I actually listened to the whole album and it's not angry at all. It's very, very mellow and everything. So tell me a little bit about that backstory.
Yeah, so I started writing music around 14 years old. It's when I wrote a majority of the album that I released. I was singing pretty much my whole life in choirs at school. And then my dad got me a guitar in first grade, and it was too big for me, so I couldn't learn how to play. So I didn't pick it up until about 8th grade, I'd say. My grandma had passed away when I was in 7th grade. 2 weeks before she was supposed to see me live singing at my school talent show. So I ended up singing Hey Jude by the Beatles in her memory. And then to deal with the loss of that and along with like bullying at school and all the stresses of that, I started I went to music for that, and I started writing music. I taught myself how to play guitar through YouTube videos and chord diagrams. And one of the first songs I learned was Last Kiss by Pearl Jam. And I actually used the same chord progression as that song for my first song, I'll Never Understand. So that's shows a little bit of the start of me.
So because your dad's here, I'm going to rope him into this as well. As far as musical influences, what inspires you, and I guess who've you grown up listening to? Because listening to your music, it's like there's so many influences that I can pick up on, but I want to hear it from you. Like, who are your muses kind of as you were listening to music? Because growing up for me, like I'd always listen to music that my mom or dad are playing because we're going on road trips, and you have to suffer through like Kenny Rogers or people that you don't really listen to normally, and then all of a sudden you're my age and you're going, oh man, yeah, I love Kenny Rogers, and you're like, how did that even happen? But yeah, so
I actually always loved the music that they played. I was such an old soul, so I didn't have to mature to understand the music that they were listening to. So my dad would play people like Mumford and Sons. I'm trying to think. I was so young. So a big one I remembered from him was Mumford and Sons, and then my mom would play like the Beatles, like all those older artists from like the 60s. So those are big influences for me, the Beatles and then Mumford and Sons. But then I started listening to my own music when I got my phone. I got it in 5th grade, but I didn't start like listening to music until like 6th or 7th. On my own. So I started listening to Melanie Martinez in 6th grade, and then Lana Del Rey in 7th, And I'd say those are like two pretty big influences for me, along with like Billie Eilish,
Yeah.
um, uh, Biba Doobie. Her album or EP Patched Up was a really big inspiration for my album. I really like the way it sounded.
Right.
That bedroom kind of indie pop sound.
Yeah. We're gonna play Phil's top five for those who are taking notes. And I suppose the first song that I'm gonna play is like for me, it's just such a different style to what like your really recent stuff was doing. But it's also something that I almost kind of want to hear more of you, like more from you. But the song that I'm talking about is "Good Night." Okay, so that's number five on Phil's top five, and what the reason for it is because it's very. I can tell that it's like very early in your songwriting, but it is such a like a boppy kind of like that kind of feel to it. Before I kick this song off, Jane is watching.
Hi,
So
Jane.
thanks for watching,
You
Jane.
found
I
me.
appreciate it. But before I kick this off, tell me a little bit about the song, like where it came from.
Right. So this was when I was working with a producer, MC Brains. He was Ohio's first platinum rap artist, in the '90s, and I wrote this song, and actually, it's one of my more recent ones. I wrote it in 2021. So it's actually a hint to like my new writing style and my new sound. My second album is more of like a current lo-fi hip hop kind of vibe. So I'm
Oh,
glad you
okay.
said that you want to hear more of that from me because that is the direction I'm taking for my second EP. And then I was planning on like circling back to the vibe of the first album uh, for my third album. So I'm
Oh
really
wow,
deep in the
you're
writing
already
process.
you're already in it. You're right into win
Yes.
it. I
So
see
it's just
that.
a matter of like final touches, pulling it together in studio time, and getting it really to sound how I want before I put it out. So I'm aiming towards with the timing, maybe early summer, late spring for my next
You know
EP.
what? We'll talk about when new stuff is coming out toward the end, but I'm super excited that you kind of hit the nail on the head with where you're going with this because I love all the stuff that you've done, but I hear like the growth in your production as I listen to each track, which is always really exciting. It's something that me and Alexis did on our podcast as well, and it's such I love doing what every artist I have on because it's really it's just about growth. It's about like you learning how to write different styles, you know, featured on certain things. You know, all this stuff is just really cool to do.
If
Um,
you, sorry to cut you off, but the way the album is structured, it shows the growth as it goes through it.
yeah, that's
The
exactly how
last
I
two
listen to it
songs on the
today.
album
Yeah.
are the how she evolved.
It really is that, and I'm glad you said that because that's exactly how I listened to it today multiple times. I've been listening to it since we met or kind of were chatting, but just in preparation, just to kind of be really fresh. On my ride to work and on my ride back home, I was listening to Judelyn on Spotify, not promoting Spotify in any way, just saying that I listen to
Yay!
Spotify. But it's so good to hear, and it's just you've got an amazing tone. And one of the things I said to you before, as well, and we'll get into this deeper into the other songs as well, but just the melodies behind it, not just your vocals, but just everything, like the guitar, like everything about the songs. They're just so well structured, and for you to have that at such a young age is it's exciting. Like I can't wait to see more. So, but we're gonna kick off this one. This is number five on Phil's top five. It is "Good Night." If I can get it to play. Oh, hold on a second. There we go.
Good night. Let's just say good night. Don't need all the stress, I just want you a part of my life. Look me in my eyes, doing everything under the sun that you know I despise. I can't wait for your lies. Talk on the phone with another girl, I don't know why. So just hold me tight. Don't wanna find out that you're really not my type of guy. Let's just say good. Start my day with nonsense before I even eat breakfast. Sometimes I think that I am just a check mark off your checklist, but you know that I can never ever be your side chick. Sometimes I wonder if you're even worth mentioning on my track list. Think he locked his keys in the car. Think he's tumbling out in the dark. Without me he won't get far. Seems like he didn't care about my heart. Think I'ma go out with the girls, put them off cause I thought it was my world. This time I won't be crying, putting on my diamonds and pearls. 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 Diamonds and pearls.
All right, so I'm going to cut that off right there because a minute and a half is about what I want to do for each song, just because I want people to go out and listen to your stuff. I don't want them to listen through this, but this is a good taster. That for me is exactly what I would love to see more from you, because it is just such, I love the confidence. I can hear the confidence. It's just so good. And just when you're going through like just all the lyrics, it's just amazing. And I love that. It's almost, you know, when you look at the history of the music that you've made and the fact that you wrote most of the other songs when you were much younger, I didn't really put the timeline together until you said this is a newer song, but it makes sense, and you can hear the influences and everything. It's really, really cool.
Awesome.
So that was number 5, Good Night, and we're not going to say good night just yet, but we're going to keep going. So on to the next thing. Dawn, I'm going to ask this next one to you because, you know, having a daughter that's so talented, you know, do you have like a background in the music industry, or are you just like taking it by day? How are you managing this for her?
I have no background. I listen to music throughout my whole life, all different genres, you know, from rap to heavy metal. Yeah, just no musical
direction,
ability.
kind of,
No, yeah.
It sounds like she's spearheading it, and you're just making sure she doesn't make any choices that might be. You're just being that dadager that we were talking about earlier.
Not only that,
Trying
he
to be.
pushes me. He pushes me to keep going when I'm struggling to find motivation to do things sometimes. He'll give me that pep talk that I need to keep going, and never let me forget what I really have. And I really wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for him, because I still remember the first time I came downstairs and I was like, Dad, I wrote a song. He's like, what? And he was like, let me listen. And then I started playing it for him, and he was just like, wow, he really seen something in me. And I was like, this is something more than a hobby, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Like,
well, he's not silly. He may not have a music industry background, but you know, from a, you know, being a parent myself, I can tell you that one of the things is every parent does is they try and encourage their children, but seeing you accomplish what you've accomplished at 19 years of age, I mean, the fact that you have an album on Spotify, that's not going anywhere. That's staying on all streaming platforms. I say this to everyone about my podcast and everything. It's out there forever. It's out in the world now. And what's amazing about music is it touches everybody. Like, everyone receives it. It's like reading a book. You might get something out of the book, and then I might get something different. It's the same with music. And they create memories. And so that song is a memory for someone, and that's what really is motivation for me to keep creating. And hopefully putting it that way might inspire you a little bit as well, because you basically somebody somewhere is listening to your songs, attaching an experience or just anything that's happening in their life. So when you're writing songs, what really drives that? Like, are you in a certain mood? Do you come out from an experience? Because as I listen to the tracks, like you can tell, like one of them you're talking about going to school for the first time, and it's you're worried about the bullies and all that kind of stuff, and it really
Mhm.
tells a story. But is there like, what's your creative process?
So that's a good question. Um, Most of the time when I'm writing, I solely write on emotions, on what I'm feeling. I try not to think about it too much. Um, I feel like I'm almost like channeling energy from another source when I'm writing because I feel like it just comes through me and out into the physical, and it's just like sometimes I just don't know where it comes from.
Right.
My first album, I was writing about experiences not only that I was going through, so you can kind of hear I was growing up as the album was kind of like, especially with leaving home.
Yeah.
That was one of my last ones that I wrote with that album. Um, I don't know. I just
You're just naturally talented. That's the answer right there. I gave you your answer. You're just naturally talented. No, you know it's and there's no right or wrong answer to this. It's just it's really it's really for everyone to hear who's watching, because the reality is that everyone has a different creative process. There are some people that will sit down and it'll just flow. Like they've decided they're going to write a song and they already have the idea for the song. Other people will write the melody and then put lyrics to the melody.
That's exactly
Um,
what I do. Yeah.
and then other people will write the lyrics and then try and find a melody for the lyrics. So it's everybody has a different creative process, and I think for you, it's you go from life experiences, but also from moods and how you're feeling, and that's cool. Like that's a
And
creative
and
process. That's
and not
literally
only that, I remember I wrote since I was 14. I remember writing some of the songs in a fuzzy pink cat journal at lunch
oh
with my
lovely.
friends sitting there. I would just be at this table with my friends just chatting, and I'm just sitting there writing in my book. I remember one of the songs, Nostalgic Monsters, for example. I wrote that song as if I was an adult looking back on my childhood. And
Oh
it's just
wow.
like, what kind of 14-year-old thinks like that? Like I was always so mature for my age.
I was going to
As a
ask
as
Dawn that question, but I'm glad that you you said the same thing. It's it's the maturity. I think it comes from what you listen to as in music as well, because as you go through your whatever is in your playlist, you hear different things and you hear different subject matter, and you start thinking, oh, maybe I can write a song about that, and it's that feeds the creative process. And you might just be sitting there eating lunch, and all of a sudden, nobody's ever written a song about a sandwich, but I'm pretty sure sandwiches are being eaten when some of these things are being written. So
oh, absolutely.
it's it's just it's again, um, like I said, no right or wrong answer. The creative process is the creative process. It doesn't matter. For me, my creative process is meeting people like you. So the way I do this podcast is very unique in the sense that it's not scripted. I don't have any questions lined up. I'm just genuinely interested in your music, and I want other people to hear how good and how talented you are. So that's my creative process, because I don't have anybody on here that I don't genuinely have interest for. So, like I said, creative process is different for everyone. Now, I'm going to go on to track number 4. Now, number 4, this was a tough one for me because it's kind of tied with number 3, but I'm going to call it number 4 just because of what it is. I'm going to say it is Black Sheep. I almost said Late Night Gamble, but I'm going to put that number 3. Just changed my mind all of a sudden. So Black Sheep is the first track I actually listened to of yours, and honestly, just creatively, it's just really 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 good. Like, where is where does that come from? Like what was going on when you were writing that song?
I remember that was also one of the last ones I wrote as a 14-year-old or 15-year-old at the time. Um, I remember it was in the summer, and I came up with this piano melody on GarageBand, and then I put a drum loop to it, and that's really all I remember. Like starting off, like writing that song. I remember just doing it on my phone on GarageBand, and I really don't even know how that song came to be, but I know that it's a very heavy, emotionally driven song, for things that I've dealt with in my life. So, as all of my songs on that
Yeah,
album,
I
but
was gonna say it feels like this is gonna be a trend because that's literally what is the case for a lot of these songs. I feel like, but for this one specifically, I think it's just creatively everything. When the guys listen to it, they're gonna understand. It's just awesome. I love it. So for everyone, this is Black Sheep, and like the other one, I'm gonna just kind of do a 1 minute ish. See how we go with the flow. You know, I might get into it a little bit too much. I have to stop myself a lot of times
It picks
with
up.
every guest. You know, 'cause it's like you start getting in and you're like, oh yeah, this is cool. I'll do that. Yeah, you know. So, all right, here we go.
Running headfirst into walls. In my mind, I have it all. But in reality, I'm nothing without you. Money and Vegas lights, but I'm still lonely at night. And in reality, fame is nothing to I am an overachiever. I don't know why I always strive to be the best. There is no one in my life who is not all in a night, ready to stab me into my chest. I've always been the black sheep. They don't know how they hurt me. They've never even cared. I guess I'll do the same. Maybe I'll swallow my pride, let out what's been kept inside. 'Cause life's just not fair. They're cheating the game.
All right, listen, that is, I don't even. You're writing like you're 29 and you have this like jaded, like you've got this backstory that everybody wants to hear, and you're just like, man, everyone's just trying to cut me down, and I'm like, Jesus, she's 14. Where's this coming from?
well,
I
I do
want to
have
know
to
where you
say
went to
that
school now. It's like, do we need to go and see the headmaster there or principal or something? Like, what's going on?
um that song, now that I think about it, it really is how I seen myself growing up. I've always been really hard on myself to be this perfect person. Nobody really like demanded that of me, but I demanded that of myself, and I have never grown out of that. So that song is just basically talking about the struggles of the pressure I put on myself to be
Right.
perfect, you know?
Right. That's fair. And I think we all do that. But when you were writing that, it's like, if I heard that, if I was dad, right, when I heard that, I'd be like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Like, is she okay? Do I need to go and see the head? Like, seriously? Is she being bullied? Like, good Lord. Like, Don, like, did you ever kind of feel that way? Jane, thank you so much for tuning in. I really
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
And yes, she
Well,
does. That's exactly why we're here. She has a beautiful voice.
Yeah, kinda. I mean, we knew she got, went through some things at school, but it's
She's just incredible. Like, there's no other way to really say it. other than
Funny thing about that song though is when she first wrote it and came downstairs and sang it for myself and the wife, the beat started coming on, and
yeah, you're
the
just
wife
like, yeah.
the wife was like, why is all your songs sad? And then Judelyn said, well, it's not sad. And then here, it's got an upbeat tempo, but it's sad. It was so funny the way it happened.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not. It's really not sad. It's. I mean, the emotional aspect of it. Maybe she's talking about something that's sad, but
Mhm.
I think the conveying of the emotion. I mean, genuinely. Yes, I was sitting there going, "You're 14. Like, why is anyone stabbing you in the back? Like, what's happening here?"
A lot.
Okay, well, because I can't stop listening to your amazing voice, I'm going to play the next one, which is number 3, and we already gave it away. It's Late Night Gamble, so I'm gonna kick this off.
Great song.
I honestly, this was picking these top 5 is probably the most difficult thing I've done with all the artists that I've had because they're all so very very different. But yeah, the beat and everything is awesome. Hold on one second now. Here we go. Late Night Gamble.
Remembered I stare up at the ceiling. Always seem to be in my feelings. I need some healing. Will you tuck me in my bed? Give me a kiss upon my head. Say I will be with you till we're dead. Rain is pouring down tonight, tonight. Hope I don't get into a fight. Every little thing is always the same. Make a bun, dresses real tight. Baby, can you tell me, do I look alright?
All right, you see how you get sucked into that song because it's like storytelling. It's now that I would say is kind of mellow-ish sad because I'm like, where are we going with this? It's very very kind of mellow. It's kind of telling a story. I don't think. I mean, I listened to the whole song and there's no real like kick in of oh yeah, let's go. No.
Right.
Sit your ass down, boy. You're gonna listen to this song. So it's very. It's different, but I love it. Like it's just a different feeling. Just a very different
Absolutely.
feeling. Tell me a little bit about that one because while Dad thinks it's an amazing song, where did it come from?
Well, it was one of the first songs that I wrote. I think it was like second or third. I kind of put the album in order of how I wrote them. But that song, the main vibe I wanted to get out of it was like a rainy day in a song. I wanted to convey that feeling of like a rainy day, kind of like, feeling your feelings. And that song is really about a toxic relationship and looking for approval within your significant other, in putting all of your self-worth into them. So again, I wrote this at 14, and it's crazy to me because I haven't even experienced that yet. But as I grew up, I realized how much I actually was going to experience. It was almost like I was predicting the future. And I actually just recently, you know, have been in those same situations of some of
Right.
my songs that I've wrote about, and it's crazy to me.
So I guess my next question would, because I haven't really done my homework on you that much. Do you have like older sisters or something?
I have one younger sister.
You've one younger sister. You've got no
Hmm.
older siblings to
Nope.
really have like gotten these ideas from. You're just like too old for your years, is what it sounds like.
Pretty much. I mean,
Dad is
like
just
I
nodding
said,
his head over here.
as a
Oh
A
boy.
child, I was
very
always
old soul.
as a child I was always hanging out with the adults. I never wanted to play with the other kids when we got together with people. I always wanted to be in the adults' conversation. And I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a good answer. I'll take it. So here's one for you that'll you've probably already thought about this. If you were to collaborate with any artist, and I'll throw it out there, living or dead, why not, right? If you're gonna collaborate with any artist, who would it be and why?
I say um
I just love that
aside from
Don's laughing right now. It's just the best part.
being a really big fangirl, I really think sonically I would sound really good with Lana Del Rey. Not just saying that because I freaking love her, but because I think I would really sound good with her. I also really like Bon Iver. That song specifically, it was kind of like a Bon Iver feel to me, like Roslyn,
Yeah.
um, and Beach Baby, and all those songs. So them, and currently I'm really really freaking loving. I think it's pronounced Hosier. Is that how you say it? I don't know, but
Yes.
he's freaking
Yeah.
amazing, and like that's one of my current ones that I would love to
Cool.
collab with.
All right. All right. You didn't say recess. That was your moment right there, and you didn't say recess. What are
Okay.
you doing? Like, I'm just
Okay, I
calling it
cannot forget
out.
about
Like,
that.
Recess are probably watching. Somebody from Recess is going to watch this and be like, "You didn't say us." Okay.
They're gonna drag me now just because you pointed
Moving
that out
on.
too.
Yeah. Right. I will say this though. I was fortunate enough. One of the few. Or one of the many, depending. I haven't really looked. It was grown in views all the time, but the collaboration you did for the Christmas song was amazing. And I think
Thank
I
you.
hounded you enough, and I hounded them enough to release it, but they haven't yet, and I'm really annoyed about it. But I'm just saying that there should be more of those collaborations because your voice is absolutely amazing, and when you sing with him, it's like, what? Why is this not a thing? Why is this not happening more? Like, are you kidding me?
I've
I
been trying to get little
absolutely
nudges
agree.
in it too, but
Right?
it
No, I'm
Yeah.
hasn't
serious,
happened
dude.
yet.
It's
Yeah.
it's creatively like together. I mean, I'm not saying you have to be a band member. I'm just saying
Hmm.
maybe a few more collaborations. Like it's obvious that you guys work really well together, and I know the guys now, and they're very collaborative minded. I know. We have one of the band members that actually plays for Alexis as well. So
Hmm.
it's all kind of intertwined. I'd love to see a duet. You know what? I'm texting Alexis right now. You need to do a duet with her. Like, that
Absolutely.
would be amazing. Again, it's the way I see you growing is working with others just to see creatively where it takes you. Because just like Good Night, I mean, you hear all the amazing tones in your voice as we go through this album, but I feel like there's so much more, and I feel like that the growth is going to happen from working with someone that just finds something, just a producer or somebody that just knows how to just really hit those notes and do those things. Not saying that you're doing anything wrong now, but it's amazing. Like, I watched an interview with Justin Timberlake recently, and he said that Timbaland basically changed his whole life because of how he produced and how he did things. And it's the same kind of vibe. It's like, you have the talent. There's no question. Your voice is incredible, but you can. The next step after this is just keep moving up, and I really want to see that happen. So, any producers watching, you know where to go. Look her up. Judelyn is amazing. And I know that you're up for collaborating because, like, literally, I watch all your reels. I'm just saying.
Awesome.
all your reels, all of them. I'm kind of sad. I sit at home and I watch all your reels. I'm joking.
Especially after listening to my reels, you would be sad.
Yeah, I mean, some of them, there are moments where I'm like, should I call somebody right now?
But no, it's funny. It's funny that you mentioned Alexis, because I'm actually opening up for a show of hers March 1st at Mahal's. So I'm really excited for that. I freaking love her. She's
Okay.
so sweet.
Yeah, no, she's amazing. She is, and her mom's amazing too. Just so we're all clear.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, don't leave mommy out. No, she's amazing. So the next one, really, okay, it's a tie for second and first for me. It's really hard. I can't. It's so the two that I'm talking about are Deflated Animals and Vintage Lies. So
Okay.
it really doesn't matter what order I put them in because they're both really amazing songs. But I'm gonna go with Deflated Animals first, just because I like the name of it. It's like it's like, you know, if you're watching horse racing and Deflated Animals coming around the bend. Yeah, that's kind of it's just that the name of the track is really, really cool. But again, Deflated Animals straight out of the gate, because I've been listening to your whole album. I'm like, oh man, is this gonna be another one that I'm gonna cry? Or did she have like somebody just come up and pop her balloon as she's at the fair?
No,
No, because
I
I'm
actually
getting in
named
the
the
mind of a
song. It
four-
was kind of funny.
But it was like I'm trying to get in the brain of a 14-year-old, so I'm like, Deflated Animals. Okay, let's give this one a listen, guys. What do you think?
Driving around on your moped, I won't make a sound, 'cause I don't care, I don't know how I'm still living. Found out now, after all these years, you're a clown, creating tears. Your balloon animals are now deflating. I'm scared of my own presence. How can I forget this? Am I driving myself insane? Open all the windows. Somehow can I let go? Life is a so-called game. Feels like I'm dying up past midnight. At least I'm trying. Tuck me in tight. It's not my fault. I just overthink. The room is spinning. Feels like I'm on a Ferris wheel. Pinch me.
All right, we went a minute and 33 seconds. I had to stop it because I'm hearing you laughing, and I'm like, it just doesn't go with the mood of the song. I'm gonna have to turn it up. Deflated Animals is, yeah, it's tied for top, but okay. Anthony, I love you, dude. You need to do more. You need to do more collaborations with this girl. She is phenomenal, and we already know that. But shout out. I love it. Yeah. Well, yeah, she was before. Yeah. I agree. I agree with Anthony, but I also I have to give you crap for not releasing that Christmas thing that we were talking about forever and ever. Like, what's going on, dude? Let's get on this. And yeah, those of you who don't know who Anthony is, Recess, an amazing band, absolutely phenomenal band. We did an interview. It's on my channel. Make sure you go check it out. And, Judelyn kind of featured too. She was asking questions. I'm just saying, kind of get to meet Judelyn for the first time because she had a few questions in there as well. So yeah, I mean, honestly, that song is just like, yeah, I don't even know what to say about it. It's just one of those things. Like I listen to this most of the time just in deep thought. It just puts you into deep thought. It's not one like it's not like you're not gonna dance unless you're swaying really nicely to it, but it puts you in a pensive kind of mood. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I almost feel like that was the kind of mood that I was in writing the song. I struggle with anxiety. So I was having really bad anxiety the night I wrote this, and I almost kind of wrote about like a panic attack, and I wanted the song to kind of feel like that, but like also comforting in a way. Like, yeah, this is our issue, but it's okay. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's kind of funny because when we were in the studio with the song, you know what I'm gonna bring up? We were considering even putting a frequency of like that causes anxiety in the song, but we ended up not doing that because I was like, that's kind of cruel. That's I want the
Yeah.
song to be comforting, not anxiety
Yeah.
inducing, because
Yeah.
people won't want
Yeah.
to listen to it.
Yeah. I'm starting to worry about you a little bit. Uh, yeah. April Fools just gave you anxiety. Yeah. No. It's like truthfully, just your creative process, everything that we've been talking about. It's pretty incredible what you've been writing about. But yeah, a lot of people struggle from anxiety, and everybody goes through it in some form in their life. Like I mean, I don't struggle with anxiety. I get anxiety, but it's as for a performer, I guess what is the thing that you struggle with the most as far as like if for example we had a little question before we did this and she was like, hey, do I have to perform live, like do I need to do I was like, no dude, relax, like it's just a conversation. We're gonna let Spotify do all the hard work.
Thank God.
Thank God.
Um,
But yeah, tell me a little bit about that, because a lot of people just think natural talent is just one of those things. Anyone can get up on stage and sing a song or whatever. But just because you're really creative and you're really talented with the guitar doesn't necessarily mean that you're super comfortable getting up in front of people. So
Absolutely. Um, I definitely have always struggled with social anxiety as well. It's I overthink a lot, as I've also talked about in my songs. So performing can definitely be very anxiety inducing and stressful. I stumble over my words a lot when I'm anxious. I stutter. I'm very introverted. So sometimes it is very hard for me to talk to people or perform. Um, it is something I love to do because I like the adrenaline rush that I get from it.
right.
But it is very it's definitely difficult for sure.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, power to you for doing it. I think the best way to deal with your anxiety is to tackle it head on, and I think you're doing an amazing job with that. I will say though, I would never have thought you have social anxiety based off of how many posts you have on Instagram. So just
It's
going
because
out
I
and
don't have to
saying it.
see them, you know?
Yeah. Right. um,
Yeah,
Jane, thanks for tuning in. It's really awesome to have the support.
thank you.
She is doing amazing. I agree 100%. She's doing fantastic, not just in this interview, but just in her creative world, what she's doing. It's fantastic. Don, what's the plan? You're just kind of here for the ride, I guess. She's in the driver's seat, whether she has a license or not, and she's gonna do it, whatever it is. And do you have a vision for this? Like, do you have a plan for her, or are you just the supportive dad? Is that kind of what the
Yeah, I
role
really
is?
have no plan. I'm just here to support her, protect her. The music industry is kind of crazy from what I hear.
Yeah,
I just try to be there and steer her in the right direction and make sure she doesn't get taken advantage of as much as I can. I know it's going to be hard, but
yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, you're doing a great job so far, and I think when she has affiliations with great musicians as well, it definitely helps. We talked about Alexis, and we talked about the Recess Boys as well, and honestly, having met all of them, just the heart and the good feeling that you get after meeting these people, it definitely is great to be affiliated to those people. So I think if you're struggling or if there's things that you're not sure of, you've got great resources there to bounce ideas
yeah,
off.
they have helped out a lot. Just little ideas here and there, and little bits of information. It's helped out a lot.
Absolutely.
100%, 100%. Okay, so we're gonna go to. I already gave it away. I feel like I've really ruined the mystery of this because I've because your songs are so hard to choose from as far as like what my favorite is. But we're going to Vintage Lies. All right, here we go.
Kids are gullible and take advantage 'cause they're moldable. Their innocence is gone. I wish to disappear. Sometimes I wish I was never here. This life is getting old. Washed minds, dirty tricks. This world must be going to shit. Wish I could just go back in time. Should have been born with Judelyn when vintage life was all they had. Wish back then was mine. But now life is complicated, and now life is hard. Why did you have to leave? Why did you go so far, so far? The young are vulnerable, they're taking advantage, but they're capable. Been watching time unfold. So back, relax, and crack a beer. One day you won't even be near. This new generation's so cold.
All I can say to you is the only thing that's going to happen for you is you're going to have like a platinum selling album. You're going to be on a Grammy award winning stage. And this is just what's going to happen. It has to like here's the thing for me. There's so many great music artists out there, and it is like the world is saturated with musicians, right? But the standout thing that you have is your tone. Your voice is so amazing. Like I could there's several artists that I've met over the past month and a half that are destined to be on this show, but you're one of them. You could literally read the phone book, and I'd quite happily listen to you. So it's very it's important that exactly, Jane. I agree with you 100%. Unique is the word. It's
What's
unique.
a phone book?
Yeah, what's a phone book? Yeah, right. I say that all the time, and I forget that we're in a generation that doesn't have phone books anymore. So for those who don't know what a phone book is, a history lesson for you. Back in the day, they used to put everyone's phone number in a big book that potentially could be a weapon. I'm not joking. It was big. It was big as a Bible, probably not as important. And yeah, you literally have to look numbers up. So those of you who are too young to know what a phone book is, there you go. History lesson from Phil. But yeah, like legitimately, you are so unique. You're so original. Your voice, the tone, everything about it. Like you can. The way I judge an artist is if I listen to you on the radio, I'd know exactly who you were.
That's awesome.
So that's really what musician artistry is all about, is like finding a way to be unique and to differentiate from everything else that's out there. And so what you're doing right now is really, really good. So stay on that path. You're not going down the wrong road. You're taking it easy. You're not rushing into anything silly, and you're doing an amazing job. What's
Thank
next
you.
for you? You talked about these albums that you're writing or you've written. I am literally waiting so patiently right now, but it's like every time I get to the end of someone's catalog of music, I'm like, when is the next thing coming out? I'm like a big kid.
No, right now, So my next EP, I wrote the majority of it, or about half of it, in 2020 when COVID happened. I was live streaming for my Instagram because we had nothing to do. So I just
I
started.
remember it was not fun for
Right,
anyone.
right. So that's when I started like making my own beats and experimenting, and that's when this EP kind of blossomed. I'm finishing up some writing for it because a lot of it was only like a chorus and then the beat, and then I have to fill in some gaps right now. And I'm just waiting on getting into the studio and hopefully getting it out as fast as possible. Obviously, it's not going to take 4 years like the last one.
Yeah, I hope not, because
So hopefully this year sometime, sooner
Yeah.
the better.
Great.
So yeah, I'm really excited
yes,
for that
the
one
sooner
too.
the better is right. I keep saying that, like sooner the better. Just
Absolutely.
just saying, sooner the better, right? And honestly, I think just creatively, just stay on track. You're doing an amazing thing. So the next album is going to be dedicated to Phil. Anyone who cares, she's going to put it on there. I know she's going to do it because I just said it live on a stream. But no, legitimately, you're so on track. You're so on trend. You're staying with everything that's real. You're staying very authentically to your own belief and what you're feeling, and that's exactly it. Don't buy into any of the trends that people are saying you need to do. Just stay true to yourself. I hear it every year now, because I watch American Idol when I'm bored, and literally I've watched the coaches evolve in what they're doing as far as like just advice. And now lately the advice is stay true to yourself. And so that's what
Awesome.
I'm gonna piggyback off that advice and say the same to you, because just you're awesome, dude. Like,
Thank
legit.
you.
And you got a great dad there that's ready to go to bat for you whenever.
Thank you.
Right? So
Grateful.
so I guess the next thing is, what's your favorite song that you've created? If I haven't played it, I mean,
Right.
I played 5, but I feel like you never reacted to any of the ones that I chose, and I was like, I kind of enjoy that part of my show the most is your reaction, but you didn't react to anything. You're just like, oh yeah, sure, he likes all my stuff, whatever.
It was actually surprising because I feel like your picks were like my least expected.
Oh, okay.
So,
So what would you consider your top song then?
I feel like my top song would probably be Deflated Animals and then Late Night Gamble. I really like those two. And
Okay.
then probably Life on Mars. But I personally really like Deflated Animals, just because of the fact of like how much I feel like it's how personal I feel like it is, Like I feel like that song is something I've always wanted to create.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna play Life on Mars just because I didn't play it, and you said you like Life on Mars. Oh no! What? One of Mom's faves.
Deflated Animals.
Was it really? Was it?
Yeah.
Wait, did she say Deflated Animals or Life on Mars? Mom.
Deflated
fill me in.
Animals.
Deflated Animals. Okay, all right.
And
all
then
right.
she really likes Captain too.
She likes Captain as well. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah. She's like, she's furiously typing. She's like, yes, that's the one.
Stop
She knows
answering for me.
She knows her mom, Phil. Quit trying to guess. That's awesome. That's awesome. So hey, you know what? I'm gonna put Life on Mars because I love it. I love the guitar on this. This is
Me
it.
too.
Then lights are in the city. Will they come to me in full? Sometimes I feel I'm not ready. That I'm not ready at all. Northern lights are in the city.
You know, it's a track that you can easily overlook on your album, but I really feel the creative process there was so good because the guitar is like there's so many different things that you can hear in each track, but you can hear that you've tried to differentiate each track as well, and you've got different melodies and different sounds and different textures you can hear. Evelyn, yes, such a beautiful and soulful, rich voice. Couldn't have said
Thank
it better
you.
myself. Amazing. You're right, Evelyn. Thank you so much for tuning in. So I guess the next thing is tell everyone how to connect with you because, you know, your socials are, you're mainly on Instagram. So what's your Instagram tag?
My Instagram tag is JJJUDELYN at JJJudelyn. So I do connect a lot on there with posts and stories occasionally. I feel like lately I've been on TikTok a lot because I know that that's where a lot of people are nowadays. It's easier to go viral on there. So I've been trying to put a lot of energy into that. So I've been live streaming almost daily around 6 p.m. That's
You didn't
kind
tell
of where
me.
I'm at
Why
right
didn't
now.
you tell me? I didn't know that you were on
I'm
TikTok.
sorry.
What the hell, dude? Like,
But
this
yeah.
39-year-old is not on TikTok, okay? I need to get on TikTok.
You
Jeez.
You do.
Right, okay. All right. So, all right, cool. So everyone knows TikTok and Instagram is how to connect.
All her social links are available through her website, judelyn.com.
Absolutely.
Very simple.
See,
Hit the
Dom?
3 dots. There's the
That's why
links.
Dad's here. See? That's what Dad's
Thank
here.
you.
Yeah, Dad.
He's my
Dadager
second brain.
Saves the day again. Puts on the cape. There you go. All right, awesome. Good stuff. Exciting stuff. So next week, my guest is Alexis Marrero on Friday at 8:30 p.m. And it's a special day because it is a release of her newest single. Yeah, that's
my
what I
God.
said.
I'm
That's
so
what
excited.
You know, when she told me she was coming on and she showed me her single, I literally danced around my kitchen. Not a lot. It was such a good track. So she's
Oh.
listening. I know she is. And I'm telling you right now, I'm excited. So next week, guys,
I'm
tune
excited.
in, 8:30. It's going to be amazing. Guys, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been such an amazing experience. You both are amazing people, but you have your hands full, sir.
You ain't lying. You ain't lying.
Yes, you do. But she is such an amazing talent. And I'm so grateful to have met you and connected with you. And I will definitely keep following and making sure that, you know, I get my name mentioned in something.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
it's an absolute pleasure and an honor. So that is another awesome episode of Untouched Melodies. I would like to thank my guests, Dawn and Judelyn, for gracing us with their presence. And Jane, yes, you are... You're most welcome, Jane. Thank you for tuning in. It was an absolute pleasure entertaining you and giving you some content. It's one of my favorite things to do. It's why I do this. But we will be back again next Friday. Tune in, of course. And until then, be safe and go listen to the rest of her album. What are you doing? Why are you still watching me? Get out of
Great album.
here. It's such a great album.
What he said.
This is brought to you by Unscripted Productions. Thanks for being a part of the journey, and be sure to follow us for more info to get new episodes and more great content. And of course, rate this show on your favorite podcast listening platform and leave us a 5-star review. See you here next time.